Hello, my name is Deborah Hendrix, and today is February 16th, 2023, and we are here today at the Cotton Club Museum here in Gainesville, Florida. And today I'm going to be speaking with, and if you could introduce yourself and your name.
I'm Terrian Nelson-Cosby.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Cosby. And we are going to talk about the Springhill area, and that is the reason for this festival today and the celebration. And if I can just get you to talk about, kind of give us an idea of how you grew up in the neighborhood and your neighbors and anything that stands out. So.
Okay. Well, I grew up just the opposite side of Waldo Road and 7th Avenue, which runs all the way down to 15th Street. I grew up in the southeast area. I attended the same public school, Williams Elementary School, as all the kids that grew up with me on Springhill, went to the same school. So I remember the tipping in. Of course, I remember my mommy getting dressed for the Cotton Club for the events here when it was the Cotton Club. I found Mount Olive AME Church about 23 years ago. I think it's a little longer than that. I think it's 26. So, and became a member and joined, and I had my growth. I learned my talent to sing and how to pray, and right there by the one and only mother, Vivian Filer. So she's mentored me a lot and gave me courage and inspiration to do great things in Christ.
Okay, wonderful. So you say your mom would be dressing up to go to the Cotton Club. What was it at that time?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Cotton Club when it was, a venue, I guess, for music?
Yeah, she would come here. Oh, and yes, my mom would get dressed. I mean, back in the early 60s, you know, she would get dressed in her furs, and everyone was really, you know, dressed to the nines. And this was one of the places that my mother would come to. But tonight I hear them talking about Sarah McKnight, and I saw a picture of the restaurant, because I remember Miss Sarah, but I never associated a last name with her. When I was 3, my parents divorced, and my aunt and uncle would sneak me off with my dad. They would pretend they were gonna babysit me, and they would give me to my dad. And my dad, he lived near her restaurant where he would rent a room from, and that's the place that he ate every day. So on Saturdays, I would go there and eat there. That was Miss McKnight's place, at her place, and I would always wanted to play J5. The song that was out was My Girl. And on every jukebox, I thought it would say J5 was the My Girl number, you know. But yeah, those are the few things that I can remember. I love this neighborhood. As Ms. Fowler has mentioned, the neighborhood has always been about unity and love. Sure, children's had their fights after school, stuff like that. We had our quarrels, but even now as we've grown up, and if we're on the northeast side of town, we stand up for ourselves and we represent each other. Even growing up, if there was a problem, you know, in another area, then this was the neighborhood you want to belong to, because they were problem solvers and they were like, okay, let's get this straight. You know, it's just an awesome neighborhood to be from. She talked about the ditch, but she didn't talk about how we used to catch minnows and crawdads and stuff like that. That was always fun for kids our age, and to take off our shoes and try to walk in the water a little bit, knowing that our parents would kill us if they caught us.
Well, let me ask you this: in those, when you were growing up, would you call that like a baby boomer generation?
Yeah, it was.
And there's a lot of kids around.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. People believed in having lots of kids then, and that was a good thing too, because you always had someone to play with, and you had older ones that even if they wasn't your siblings in this environment, they the stuff that they had learned, they were so ready to teach younger kids. If it was academics, if it was a sport, if whatever. This was a beautiful community to grow up in. We had one swimming pool, the Lincoln High School pool, where everyone in the Southeast District here would definitely go to that pool under the late, great Mr. Mickles.
Mr. Andrew Mickles.
That's right. Andrew Mickles, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So did he teach you swimming?
Taught me, yes, ma'am, he did.
Now tell me, how was it hard, or did you just take right to it?
I think I kind of took right to it. I almost drowned, and my mother at a lake, and my mother decided, you're going to get a swimming lesson. And it was a sacrifice for her to have to, being a single parent, divorced. But she did, and Mr. Mickles took great care of me. I became a lifeguard up under him. And so, yes, I took right to it.
Nice. Well, that's exciting. Well, so what, times are changing, everything is changing, and the neighborhood has changed since you grew up.
Yeah.
What do you think are some of the good changes and some of the bad changes that you've seen?
I think some of the good changes, one, that the church I attend, Mount Olive AME, has been standing for like 137 years, so hey, I got my roots there, and I'm glad of that, and I'm also very proud that they have this cotton club, they have the Springhill Park, they have the Depot Park, and those are very nice things, and they're all in this area. They made some really nice things. And this area here, now, they used to have what we used to call shotgun houses, like one way in and one way out, or one window. Well, anywho, they done away with a lot of the shotgun houses, and I think on the property of my church, we sort of saved one of those houses. And then the old Perryman grocery store, that I think that also belongs to Mount Olive, and we're just saving it, so people that remember can reflect. But you probably got young people nowadays, they're clueless.
Well, so just speaking of the grocery stores and all, can you tell me, like when you were growing up as a child, did you go to, did you have a favorite like store that you'd go to get, I don't know, candy or anything like that? Was there any neighborhood grocery store?
Well, there was Wolfmeyer, and when I was coming up, and that's right across the street from here. But the Tippin' Inn was the place that had the jukebox, and but because it was across Waldo Road, I wasn't allowed to go alone. But when you get out of that pool with Mr. Mickles swimming all day, and got you some change, you want to run over to the Tippin' Inn, hear a little bit of music as you're getting your cookies and goodies. But that was the only grocery store that I knew that was close was Wolfmeyer in this particular area.
And there were other businesses too, I suppose. Was there a theater or there wasn't? No, there wasn't in the Springhill area, was it?
No, the theater was on the Fifth Avenue area, but that's where I did go to the theater there, as well as the Florida Theater downtown.
And I won't ask too many more questions because I could go on all day. But how did you get around? Like as a kid, did you walk, just walk everywhere, or did you ride your bike?
In this neighborhood, because I'm the adjoining neighborhood, usually most kids say, "Hey, I'm gonna ask for a bike this year." So your group of you are gonna ask for bikes. So if you get bikes that year, that's what you did to entertain you all year. Even if I had to stop, one of my classmates is out there, and sometimes she couldn't go across Waldo Road, and neither could I. And we just, just to see each other on the bike, say, hey, I'm on my bike. Look what I got on my spokes, on my tires, stuff like that. Look at my little horn. And if one year everybody got skates, then we would all try to find us a place that we could skate, like the parking lot of William Elementary School. We would all get on the skates and skate. So we just kind of like did it. And we would walk. Walking was one thing that we would do. But we would walk in groups. We would walk to the theater in groups. We would walk as far as the southeast side, all the way on 13th Street, where Applebee's is now, to go to what they call the kiddie show, because we got in half price. Or we would go downtown where we could take a RC cap top, and that would be your admission. The RC bottles tops had some kind of little thing on it, I guess. I don't know. We just handed it to them, and that was our fare to go into the movies, and that's something.
Wow. It sounds very similar when I was growing up, too. Well, so just thinking of the future, is there anything that you might want to pass on to anyone watching this many years from now about something that you would like them to know about your neighborhood growing up?
The unity, the love, what it meant to have a best friend, a best buddy that you did things when you grew up. Back then we had the Easy Baker oven, so your best friend and you would start off making little cakes together and get older, and then you're making cakes for your families. Now it seems that this new generation, which I'm so concerned about, but I'm praying about, that they learn to appreciate each other so that they can learn to appreciate life and unity. Because, without it, we're really nothing, and we're really gonna self-destruct. So I just like I wish things were like they were back in the 60s and early 70s, but nowadays it's kind of saddening. And I just think that the younger generation don't know how to really love. They don't know how to love, they don't know how to trust well, love well, support each other well. And they are staying away from the church, so, and that's where you get your foundation from, at least people from where I come from. You get a good solid foundation of knowing how to live and how to live right through your church. And then if you had that, I think you'd know how to treat your fellow man.
Well, that was very lovely. Thank you for that. Well, is there anything else you care to add before we stop?
No, ma'am. I just thank you very much for allowing me to speak with you. And I really wanted to shed my light on this new generation really concerned about it, and I wish there was the things that I had opportunities to do, like the Mr. Mickles at the swimming pool. You know, I don't know how many kids are getting swimming lesson in the southeast side now. You know, I don't know. Maybe they are. I just don't know how many that are. I don't know how many that are attending the recreation center and really utilizing it to learn how to work with each other, how to play games and sports. Maybe they are, but I just haven't seen it yet. So I'm praying for this new generation, and I'm praying for harmony and unity and love and Christianity, or whatever faith they choose to have. As long as it's one filled with peace and love, you can't go wrong.
Well, that's a great way to end the interview. Thank you so much.
And thank you. Have a great day.